Sweet friends, how do you do today? And how do you woo today? And how do you woo you today? Welcome to How to Woo, a podcast on love and making love so we can make sure we're making lives we love. I am your host, Luna Robbie. I am a multi-artist and creative guide obsessed with learning about life, especially from other humans direct, because we all have our own unique perspective and wisdom. So here we are again for some deep listening and a little vacrophilia so we can stay excited about life and co-create a world where taking care of each other is the norm. Let's dive in. Our guest today is a 76-year-old Indigenous native human who uses he, him pronouns. He is straight and single and in a new era of choosing partners instead of allowing himself to be chosen, and is into facilitating a woman's orgasm orally and penetratively, kissing, he is a great kisser, receiving head, and he has many stories of hanging out in Hollywood in the era of free love. Originally from Angeles Mesa, rural California, now known as Inglewood, he is a writer-director from SoCal. Welcome, Bernie.
Nice to be here.
So could you please start out by telling our sweet listeners what, in general, before we get to the sexy stuff, what makes you excited in the world? Like, what do you love? What brings you joy? What makes you go, woo?
My Indigenous spirituality.
Are there any other things that are just like hobbies, the way you pass time? You are a writer, so are there certain genres that you're drawn to?
Writing excites me. I get overwhelmed sometimes with what the creator puts in my head for me to write. And I never list that as a hobby because it's a career.
It's a vocation.
And it's what I do.
Yeah.
But that excites me a lot.
Yeah.
And talking about what I've written and how I'm going to direct it really excites me. I get really, really enthusiastic.
I know. Our very first conversation, you were telling me creative things and I was like, oh my gosh, a person after my own heart, because I too find that creative energy. Well, here's a question for you. I find that creative energy flows through me, and my artist creative energy, for me, there is a connection between my sexuality. Is that something you experience?
How I look at writing, it is the hardest artwork there is because you have to work, somebody has to work to appreciate it. They have to set aside time and read and let their mind go. Looking at a picture or a photograph or a painting, it's all there. Watching a movie, it's already there, but it started with a writer and goes on with directing and acting. So the hardest medium for me in art, I feel, is writing.
Yeah, it's your own generative creative force. When you were experiencing those tough parts of life, or just at any point, how do you show your self-love? How would you say you woo you?
Well, I do, when I look in the mirror, I find myself a bit attractive, but the outside world doesn't really deem me that way, I feel.
Okay.
And so I just, I get a little subconscious, and it's online stuff, which is all BS anyway, handsome and good looking and stuff like that. And it's just something to lead up to scamming you for money.
Oh, I
is
see.
what the whole online dating and everything, that's to me that's what it's about.
Yeah,
It's just scamming people.
totally. So what do you do when you're showing your self-love? You look at yourself, but what do you do to kind of like take care of you or treat yourself or enjoy life with your own self?
I go to the movies a lot by myself. I'm basically by myself all the time.
Yeah.
And, reading is by myself unless I read to somebody
Yeah.
a movie that I wrote.
Cool.
It's like, I'd like to read you a movie because anybody can say, I'd like to take you to a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like spending time alone? For me, being alone is a big part of my self-care. Or is it a balance for you?
I enjoy it, but I miss a woman's closeness.
Yeah.
Her scent, her feel, her breath, heartbeat next to my heartbeat in a hug.
Yeah. Does writing fall into the category of self-love for you, or does it feel separate because it is work?
Oh, I don't feel it's work.
Okay.
It is totally self-love because I'll write something and I'll go, wow, creator, how did I come up with that?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's magic.
yeah, it's like it hasn't been done before,
Okay.
but it's being done now.
Yeah. What about when you are, for example, location scouting or kind of putting together the pictures in your brain, like the not specifically writing the words part of the movie, but the other part of the writing?
Well, as a writer, director, I have done what a lot of others haven't done, is I have gone and scouted locations.
Yeah.
And I have formulated stuff in my head while I was looking at the location. And it's great.
Does that make you fall in love with yourself a little bit?
Oh, yes.
I feel like that's like,
Oh, yes.
I think for me too, it's like any act of creative self-expression where it's like in resonance, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I don't know, in flow with the universe. I don't know how to say it. That's when I fall in love with myself some more.
I have a book. It's a compilation of directors telling their feelings about directing. And I don't know it word for word, and I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think of it till just now, but it's like, communicate your vision through your story and your actors by never limiting your vision.
Allowing for the expansiveness.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to say about like nourishing yourself with self-love?
I really love myself when I'm dropping weight. For 40 years or more, I've been wanting to get down to like 155, 160.
Okay.
I was down to 162, and then I went to work for 5 weeks, and craft service jacked that up. And
Yes,
I'm like,
craft service is sneaky.
I'm like 173 now. So
Well, okay, I hear that. I support your goals, and I think you as is right now is perfect. Just to say that. Okay, so when it comes to receiving love from other people, how do you like love to be shown to you? Like, how do you like receiving attention? How would another person woo you?
being attentive, being honest,
Okay.
sincere, trustworthy, and totally being into me.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to be desired. I read a book recently that was like, men don't like being desired as much as women. And
Oh, come on, that's crap.
that research is off. Your sample
Yeah.
size is not big
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
I don't know what
This
you're quoting.
this man
Yeah.
likes being wooed. I've always said, I love a woman that sees what she wants and goes for it.
Especially when it's you.
Yeah, especially when it's me.
Yeah. When you're thinking about receiving, you said attentiveness, so someone's attention, what kind of attention do you like? I mean, you said sincere attention, but like, is there any specific texture, like listening to you maybe read a movie or
Yeah, wanting to have that experience and having a movie that I wrote read to them.
yeah,
Touch, scent,
yeah.
breath. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think for me as an artist, I need a partner who sees and values my work because my work is a core part of my being, my artwork, my creation.
I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you might. Anything else? Like, are you a gifts person? Do you, like, how do you like to spend time with
I
someone?
love giving gifts. As you know,
Yeah,
I
know
came
you came
prepared with
but
gifts.
what about receiving gifts? Do you like that too? Because sometimes it doesn't go both ways for some people. Some people it does.
You know, if I get a gift, I'm real ecstatic and I like it, but I don't expect it. I don't expect anything in return for my generosity at all. I don't do it because I want something out of it. I do it because that's the way I am.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. What are the ways that if you're spending time with someone you are romantically, sexually, whatever attracted to, like how do you most enjoy spending that time? I heard physicality, but what other ways?
Kissing.
Okay.
I love kissing because it's a way of our tongues being able to dance in each other's mouths.
Yeah.
And it feels great. I mean, I could Just kiss. I don't have to do anything else. Just hold and kiss.
Really?
Well, if she
I
doesn't,
feel like it's the gateway drug for me.
well,
I'm like, give me all
well,
this.
yeah, it is, but not always
Doesn't
from
have to be.
the other person's perspective. They might not want to go there.
Yeah.
So that's the only time that I ever want to hear the word no, is if a lady changes her mind.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's one. Okay, astute observation. Also, I am a person that, like, I know this about me. Like, I tend to be an escalator. Like, if I'm in the position of yes, I'm in yes mode, which is why I keep myself pretty closed in general until I have a really good reason, and then like everything all at once, and people and stuff. I really benefit from someone who slows me down, because waiting too, like doing just the kissing, can be very, very
What I
connecting and
do
arousing.
the first time I kiss someone,
Yeah.
a woman, I don't use my tongue.
Mm.
I let her look for it.
That's hot. Let her look for it. How did you learn to do that? When did you start doing that? Was that always thing? Like, did you learn that from someone?
That just came over me. But I have an aunt that's 9 years and 9 months older than me. So she has girlfriends that are 9 years and 9 months older than me and older.
Uh-huh.
And one of them, that was 15, taught me how to French kiss when I was 4 years old.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
And whenever I was over at my grandparents' house, because my aunt lived there, and her girlfriends were over there, they would take turns, except for my aunt, making out with me so they could practice French kissing.
Okay, so you're like, I'll let someone find my tongue. I've
Just
had an abundance of French kissing
Yeah,
from a young age.
but I do that because I have this little indentation in my tongue.
Ooh,
And
always? Or did you
yeah,
like fork it? Okay.
no, and I'll slowly roll across the tip of her tongue, and that usually gets them going pretty good.
Fun. I love that. Honestly, my very first kiss, I don't know if I've talked about this on pod, was so overwhelmingly tongue-ish, like mouth slobbery. Like, it was so overwhelming. And especially when I was younger, I was highly sensitive to like anything squishy.
Mhm.
And so it really was this experience of like, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had, yeah, one of my other early experiences, my first boyfriend was like, you're not a very good kisser. I was like, oh, what? We just had different styles.
If I've never had a bad kisser, because if she wasn't that good, I taught her how to kiss.
Yeah, that's the correct way to do it. How do you teach someone to kiss?
I don't like where the lips are curled in like this. What I do is I do a little,
Wait, I'm gonna mirror it for you on camera. Wait.
just real nice and soft.
So it's like a soft open mouth.
Yeah, a little bit
Well,
open, so she can get her tongue in there and find mine,
Okay.
or
I
at
love
least
that.
attempt to,
Yeah,
until
yeah.
I'm ready to give it to her.
Have you ever had be like, babe, please can I have some tongue now? Or like, do they eventually find their way in if they're not getting rushed?
They just go right for it because they're not used to, and I never blame the woman.
Yeah.
Because if those are the kind of guys she's used to kissing her, that's how she kisses.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with her. It's how she's learned.
Right. It sounds like you have a very open, receptive, worshipful nature. Has that always been a part of you?
Yeah, I was getting back to my younger years. When I was 5 years old, next door to my grandmother was a 5-year-old boy. And I would always go play. We'd play cowboys and Indians, and I was always the Indian. And one time I went over there, and his almost 17-year-old sister said he's not home, and she brought me in and had me go down on her. And she enjoyed it immensely. So every time I came over, that's what she would have me do. And if we'd be in my grandmother's backyard, she'd be wearing shorts, and she'd move them, go, "Hey, Bernie." And she would have her legs spread and move her shorts over to show me her goodness. And I would take her behind the garage and go down on her.
Okay, so it sounds like young you was curious about that experience and kept doing it.
Well, I was good at it.
Yeah.
And I just expounded.
Okay. Oh, okay. We're going to get into your details. Okay. When do you feel the most connected to another human being? You know, it can be definitely in a romantic and or sexual context, but even outside of that, like what elements in general allow you to feel connected to another human being?
Humor. Humor. Either my humor, their humor, or both of our humors. And it is like with a man or a woman, the humor. I mean, I have workmates,
Yeah.
and one of them always wants a joke from me. And he just goes ballistic over how great the jokes are. And he goes, "You got to tell this to somebody else. You know, you can't just like to me."
Wait, now I want to have a joke. Do you have a joke that you could tell me right now? Is that putting you on the spot?
No, I got one. I got my go-to, my favorite one.
Okay, can I have it?
Yes. Third grade class, teachers going to teacher conference. So they get a substitute. She's giving them the curriculum and stuff. And she says, when you have an oral quiz, whatever you do, this little girl in front with the beautiful blue eyes, she has the foulest mouth of anybody in the world. So be careful not to call on her. So keeping that in mind, when they do, and I always use the name of the person that I'm telling the joke to. So in keeping that in mind, she says, the teacher says, all right, class, I want you all to think of a noun beginning with the letter A. The first hand up is this pretty little girl with the blue eyes. She goes, oh, she's going to say ass or asshole. So Bernie. Bernie goes, apple. Very good, Bernie. All right, class, now beginning with the letter B. Her hand is up again. First one. I'm not going to call her. She's going to say bitch or bastard. So I'll call on Susie. Susie gets up and does this little curtsy, all prissy, and says, ball. She goes, very good. This goes on all through the alphabet. The first hand up is this little blue-eyed pretty girl. And she doesn't call on her. Then when she gets to the letter R, she goes, class, I want you to give me a noun with beginning with the letter R. Everybody raises her hand but this little girl. So she goes, okay, I got her. So she calls on her. She goes, can you give me a noun beginning with the letter R? And she goes, rat. And the teacher sighs of relief. She goes, a big fucking rat with a cock like this.
Okay. Very appropriate for this podcast. I love it. I love it.
That's Johnny's like favorite joke.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so humor is an important connector for you. Anything else that jumps to mind? Like for me, it's food, mostly food. I don't know. Talking, exchanging information, knowing people's personal histories.
Talking is good because then, but I like talking more either on a video call or a telephone call or in person rather than just texting.
Oh, same.
Keyboard is just the worst.
In my mind, texting is for logistical purposes.
Yeah. Like my son, he texts us a lot. He'd rather text and call because he works and it's easier for him to text than it is to make a phone call or to answer the phone because he can, send him a text and he can answer you without you calling him and him not answering and you leave him a voicemail. You leave him a voicemail, he'll text you back because he can't get to the phone.
That's a good point. There definitely are exceptions. For example, I love receiving dirty text messages, in between if I have a lover or someone that I'm flirting with.
Yeah, that's cool.
Supplementary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we only have a relationship of dirty text messages, well, that better be on my OnlyFans and I better be getting tips, I love that. Is it any kind of talking or are there subjects that you like in particular?
I like talking movies. Whether it's a movie that I don't like and they tell me what they like about it and I tell them what I don't like about it.
Yeah. What do you need in a connection for it to go from friendly to like sexy, physically intimate?
Want and desire.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And passion.
Passion, yeah. Assuming it's coming from someone who you are, where there's a mutual attraction.
Oh, of course.
Mutual want, mutual desire.
Yeah.
Are there any types of like the texture in the connection? Like, do you need to get to a certain point, or is it visual based? Like, are you like, do you have any criteria in that respect?
When you first see somebody, it's totally visual. And that is going to lead to other things. You first have to be attracted to somebody unless you're introduced by friends.
Yeah.
And then you're in a situation where there's a lot of people around and you're having conversations, and then all of a sudden it's just you two having a conversation.
Yeah, that's so juicy. I love that. It's so funny the way my brain works. Like, I can tell if someone is considered normatively attractive, but I am like, my visual system is only like comes online to recognize them visually as attractive once I know them. Like, for me, I need a streak of energy. I need to know some information about them. I need to know a little bit about their values or their creative heart.
My brother and I, we went to a club. We both don't drink, but we went
Me neither.
to dance.
Okay.
And
Ooh.
I'm standing there, and this somewhat attractive woman comes up to me. She goes, first thing she says is, "What's your story?" And I go, "I'm a writer. I got a lot of stories." And then she proceeded to talk to me and mention stuff that she thought I would be interested in, and I wasn't. So finally she says, "Well, it was nice meeting you," and she walked away because I wasn't in the zone with her.
That is a wild story. Thank you for sharing. The idea that someone would see a complete stranger and think that they're into a certain thing instead of asking them is almost unthinkable to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's a really clear example of like not a connection, not a pass go.
And I have a platonic friend that whenever she was in town, she'd stay at my house. I have a king size bed, so she slept in the bed. We just happened to be in there together.
Yeah.
And one night I gave her a massage, and I go, "Hey, you're really neat." And she goes, "Don't be getting all horny on me." And I go, "Don't flatter yourself." And I turned over and went to sleep.
You're like, I was giving you a massage. I mean, I understand why maybe she was thinking that way, because I certainly have the type of brain where if someone tells me something, I will literally believe them. Like, so I've had a friend in the past, I was like, yeah, you can sleep in my king size bed with me. And I've had, girlfriends and boyfriends, like just platonic girl and boyfriends who have slept in my king size bed with me. Same, and it was fine and regular.
Yeah.
And then I had another friend who had a ton of pent up desire for me that I didn't know about. And I was like, yeah, you can sleep in my bed. And then that person was hugely disappointed when it didn't escalate into something romantic. And I was like totally caught off guard, and it was a terrible situation.
But I do have a tendency to tell somebody that we're just going to sleep.
Yeah.
But don't get all handsy on me because we're going to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
love it. I love that.
If you can control yourself, yeah, you can sleep in my bed.
Otherwise, I have a couch over there.
I'll sleep on the couch. You can have the bed.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Okay.
And I've done that lots of times.
Okay. That's
not only to a woman, but to a guy or a couple. Yeah. They come over. They can have my bed. I'll sleep on the couch.
Totally. I'm going to pick my parents up from the airport after this, and they are going to sleep in my bed tonight, and I will sleep on one of these two couches here. Maybe I'll push them together. Probably not. I'll probably sleep on that couch.
That's got a little length to it. So
that one's a little longer. I slept on this one last time when I had a friend here because we, fires, evacuations. And so, yeah, this one, I was like, oh, I'm a little bit too long for this one. Yeah. But I digress. Okay. So I love that. We have that in common. Any other thoughts or wisdom on love and or connection and or relationships from your 76 years on this planet?
Well, I believe that love is where two people want to be with each other, but they allow each other to have their own space. Yeah. And that has worked out for me, except getting back to, in my life, I've always let the wrong women pick me because I haven't drank in 50 years. and I've never taken drugs. So I'll meet a woman and she's like really digging that, but she doesn't do that. So
Oh,
she gets bummed because I don't party with
I've
her.
been there.
And then she decides, I want to end this. No matter how good the sex is or how good the conversations are, they want to get high.
Yeah.
And I don't do that. I won't even buy somebody a drink. If I take a woman out and she wants a glass of wine, she's got to buy that herself.
I'll buy
Because
someone a coffee, but
because
not
two
that.
times I have done that.
Actually, you're right. I did that in April and it was a fucking disaster.
Oh,
My
I've gotten
date
in a
was
car
so
accident
rude.
after I've dropped them off. I've gotten in a car accident because I bought them alcohol.
Oh,
The only person I buy alcohol for is my mother
okay.
because she's 94 and I go shopping for her and she gets a case or two of Cook's champagne.
Okay, well, I think that's a good exception to that rule. And I really have found that the more that I just like filter for the people who are just on my same wavelength, like it's fine if you want to go out and party, do that. But like, I'm more of a like cozy, quiet place book reader, not a loud party. I mean, I do like dancing, but
There was a
it's loud.
woman that I've been in love with since 1976 or 77. And we finally got together, but she drinks. But we finally got together, and then a few years ago, we were going to a ceremony on New Year's Day, and New Year's Eve she drank, so she couldn't go to the ceremony.
Oh,
She drank so bad she was falling down. She would go get champagne for my mom, but she would drink 2 glasses before she brought it back to the
okay.
table, and she was bad off. So I had my sister drive her home, only a mile, and I drove her car home. She went in, she got undressed, put on her pajamas, and got into bed, and was livid at me in the morning because I undressed her. And I said, No,
Damn.
no, girl, you undressed yourself.
Damn.
I had nothing to do with that. But even though we were easy, we supposedly, we both loved each other, both in love with each other. But she was not going to commit sexually, which is okay. She'd kiss and hug, which is fine because of my feelings towards her.
Yeah.
But when that happened, I mean, we're still friends. We still love each other. We tell each other we love each other, but I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that I was going to a ceremony and did that, I slept on the couch. I didn't even sleep in the bedroom with her because she was blitzed.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a good point in terms of highlighting disconnection, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the opposite of what would be an ideal scenario for
Well,
connection.
I do not like to have sex with somebody that's loaded,
Same.
that's high or drunk,
I don't want
because
to do it. Yeah.
I want them to enjoy themselves.
And consent is then a factor. And if
Yeah.
someone's going to wake up the next day and be like, what did we do? Oh, did I really want to do that? That feels really scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Oh, all my life, when I heard the word no, I stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just stopped. There was one time in the 60s, a biker friend of mine was in the bed next to me with my baby sister. And
What?
he's getting really frisky. And she's saying no, and he's like pushing it. And he's a big dude. And I said, hey, she said no, stop. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come over there and do something. And I go, remember, you have a 15-year-old sister. How would you like it if somebody was trying to pressure her into going all the way with you? And I heard him whisper to my sister, tell him everything's okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank goodness you were there. Can I ask how you and your sister ended up in the same room together?
Because we only had 2 bedrooms, and that's why I have 2 beds.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Transitioning into sexy zone. If you had to rate yourself on a sexual shame-o-meter, with 10 being super full of sexual shame and 0 being like, I don't have any. Where do you fall today, and when, if ever, in your lifetime has it squiggled?
Never.
What are you at? Are you low shame?
Nothing's shamed me.
So you're a lifelong 0.
A lifelong 0.
I'm a high five. What? How?
One time, though, I was almost raped.
Oh, damn.
And I was thinking, I was going, person was much bigger than me. I was fighting him, but I knew it was going in a bad way, and I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And I remembered a Smothers Brothers album where one of them said, I fell into a vat of chocolate. Well, what did you yell? I yelled fire. Why did you yell fire? Because nobody would come if I said chocolate. So rather than help, I yelled fire because everybody will come to see a fire. They won't come and help you.
Yeah.
And there was people running down the halls of the hotel yelling fire, 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 banging on all the doors and everything. And I got saved.
Whoa.
Thank you, Smothers Brothers.
Thank you, Smothers Brothers. Damn. Oh, I'm so glad you got saved. That sounds really scary.
It was.
Damn. Did you have any like communal healing around that? Did you ever get to talk to anyone about that? Or was it just like part of your story?
This is probably the 5th time I've mentioned it.
Okay. Okay. So you grew up in an environment where it sounds like shame was not really present for you. Why do you think that was?
I was hanging out in Hollywood in the 60s.
Okay.
And that was the free love era.
Okay.
And I participated in a lot of free love.
Okay. Wait, 1948. So you were teens, like at the beginning of the 60s. Into your adulthood.
The Jackson Browne song. In 69, I was 21.
Okay.
So there was this one woman, young lady, maybe a couple of years older than me. We would meet at Canner's, and then we'd all go to like a party. And when her acid kicked in, she would just jack me off until I came. That's what she liked to do.
Like out in public?
No, in private.
Wherever. Oh, okay.
But
I just imagine you had a counter.
No, but she would do that. That's what she did. She didn't kiss me. She didn't have sex with me, other than she would just jack me off.
Okay. How was that for you?
It felt great.
Okay.
But it takes me a long time to come, so it was a lot of fun.
Okay. Was there lube? Do you like dry hand jobs from other people? Are there any secrets to your cock?
There was no lube.
Okay.
But she had really soft hands.
Okay.
And she enjoyed what she was doing, so that was a turn on for me. And hey, another hand is better than your own.
Okay. I have talked to people where that's not the case, and I've talked to people who are like, yeah, just give me somebody else's hand. And then like I remember early hand jobs, I just felt like I didn't know how to touch each dick differently, like because everyone is different. But when I was younger, they wouldn't always tell me their secrets, now I know how to like find all the spots.
There was one time in Hollywood, I met this girl from, I think it was Yucaipa. And she goes, she was into me, I was into her, we're back at my place. And she goes, I was a virgin until yesterday. And this guy that all the chicks went crazy for was the guy that de-virginized her. But myself, I couldn't penetrate her. So I go, how do you know that he did this? Because there's something wrong here. I'm lucky to get a finger in you. She goes, well, he got on top of me, and about a minute and a half later, he said, you've just been balled by the famous so-and-so. So what I did is I taught her how to give a great blowjob.
Okay.
And then about 6 months later, I'm up hanging out in front of the whiskey, and these guys come up to me, and because I heard somebody say my name, and they go, are you so-and-so? And I go, yeah. And he goes, you know so-and-so? And I go, yeah. And I just backed up against the wall because I didn't know if someone was going to swing on me.
Oh
And I was a big fighter. You know, I had long hair. You called me a name or whistled at me or gave me grief. I fought at the drop of a hat. Even other long-haired guys that come up to me and go, those people were giving me shit. And I would go over, I wouldn't do anything, but I would let them see me. If they said something to me, then I'd take care of business. So I said, yeah, why? And they go, on behalf of all the guys in Yucaipa, we want to thank you for teaching her how to give blowjobs because she gives the best in town.
Oh my gosh, what? Do you remember what you taught? Like, have you instructed people since?
My main thing is, imagine you're trying to get the last part of a malt through a straw.
I love that story so much. I love that they came to find you to thank you. That's like very sweet.
Well, they didn't. They were up there,
They
but they
figured
just.
it. No, but that's so hot and sweet.
Because she tells everybody.
That's cute.
She would tell everybody who did it.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you had to define it, what is sexy? Or like, what is sexy to you?
A great pair of eyes. There was a woman back in the 60s that did a Playboy. She was in Playboy. And one of my friends referred to her as because she was really fine. And at Canner's, they have a lobby for the girls' bathroom with a mirror so all the women can freshen up with a mirror. And I was standing out because there were too many guys in the bathroom. Usually it's the other way around. And I looked at her and I go, wow, you have two of the biggest. And she stuck her chest out and I go, brown eyes I've ever seen.
Cute. I love that. I'm going to do that. Oh my gosh.
I have a scene in a Western that I wrote where these two guys, it's a one-room bungalow-like thing. It's a Western. And one guy is in bed with one girl and the other guy's in bed with the other girl. And when they're finished, they go, hey, let's swap. So the two guys crawl across the floor, and when they get to each other, they clasp wrists and go to the other.
I love that.
And then they do.
Is that inspired by real life?
No, but it came to me.
I love that.
So it could happen in real life sometime.
Sometimes you manifest it that way. Okay, are there any other things that you think are particularly sexy?
I love tits.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what size. The bigger the nipple, the better for me.
Oh, yeah. Big nipples are good. Mine are medium and small, but like, I love that. What do you love about them?
I love how I make them feel to the person that owns them.
Yeah.
With my fingers.
A nipple worshiper. I love that.
With my fingers, my tongue,
yeah,
and my lips.
Okay. What kind of moves do you do?
On nipples or clits?
Both. I mean, start with nipples because we're on that topic, but you can definitely go to clits.
My tongue works really well, and sucking works really good.
Okay.
But in going down on a woman, I really enjoy making them come clitorally, vaginally, and anally multiple times simultaneously with my mouth, tongue, and fingers.
Oh, lucky them. That's amazing. How did you learn to do these things? You want to take us through your kind of like sex ed lesson? Well, you gave us a little preview.
I just did it.
Really?
Because I love making a woman come. I get really turned on by their reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I like a woman that makes noise, that doesn't hold back, that doesn't like bite the pillow. She can bite my shoulder and drag her nails across my back. But to muffle her sound, yeah. I had a roommate that if a girl screamed or moaned loudly, he would punch her in the stomach.
No.
Yeah, because he didn't like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Did you tell him don't do that, dude?
I did, but, that was him.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I hope they stopped fucking him after that. Wow.
Either that or don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Bite their
Damn.
tongue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you bite their shoulder, his shoulder, or scratch him, he's going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Damn. Damn. So when did you start exploring anal things? And it sounds like you learned the difference between clit stimulation and internal stimulation. Like, what was your personal sex ed like? Like, it sounds like you had a lot of hands-on experience at a young age.
I did a lot of oral stuff before. I was 18 when I officially got laid.
Okay.
Because when you're a kid, you just go through the motions, but you're not really doing it.
Okay.
Because when I was 7 or 8, there were 2 girls that lived on my block. One of them had 4 older brothers, and she could kick my ass. And she wanted me to do her.
Okay.
And I said, Terry, Jimmy, and Roger are going to kick my ass. She goes, if you don't, I will. So I did. And then Cheryl goes, well, when you're done, you got to do me. Otherwise, I'm going to tell Terry, Jimmy, and Roger.
Wow.
But it doesn't count. So when I was 18, after a lot of oral stimulation, she decided she wanted me to do it. And it took me like 45 minutes to come. And it was like, is that all there is? I mean, I make her come bunches of times, and I only get to come once. So I decided that making her come bunches of times, and then I get taken care of is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I will do oral sex.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will do either hand job, blow job, or get laid. For me, then I'll go right back to oral sex on her.
That's yummy.
Because I like making them come.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm oftentimes a one and done person because I'll have such an intense orgasm that it's like I'll get overstimulated.
What I tell somebody
Yeah.
if they ask me to stop, I go, "What are you, a wimp?"
I am sometimes. No, like literally sometimes my body will be so like I won't be able to function, but I really like to get close to the edge and and then pull back.
Oh,
So
I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
That's fun.
But I don't do it very often because I like making a woman come.
Well, and if I also like making a woman come, and so if I'm with a girlfriend who like is like the orgasmic type where she can like have multiples and it's good for her, like I know some people who are just like next level comers,
Yeah.
For me, like having the build and like drawing it out as long as possible is really exciting. I mean, I can sometimes come more than once, but I also don't like to feel pressured to like I like to just feel pleasured more so than specifically the orgasm. But I mean, it's all pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
When did you discover your own body? Like, when did you start touching yourself, masturbating? It also sounds like you were encouraged into sex at quite a young age in many ways. Like, so
I didn't really do anything for me until I was about, I think maybe 16,
Okay.
15. I was at my aunt and uncle's, and he had a lot of Playboy magazines, and I was looking through them. Maybe it was 13 or 14, I don't know, somewhere around there. And I was looking at a centerfold, and the next thing I knew, I came. And then, hey, I like the feeling. So I made myself do it more often than not
okay,
because I like the feeling.
cool.
But it just lasts for that amount of time, just, and then there's a refraction period. So when I'm with somebody, I just go back to oralization.
Yeah.
Because I like making them come.
Yummy. Have you noticed over the years, like if you go through phases or have different ways that you like to stimulate and or pleasure yourself? And maybe you could tell us if you like to, I don't know, have balls included, any other parts of your body that like make it next level for you? Like, what are some of your pleasure points?
Just the hand.
Okay.
Just the hand.
Are you right-handed, left-handed?
Right?
Okay. Do you have a most sensitive spot on your cock or anything like that?
Up towards the head.
Okay. Okay.
And it takes me a long time to come.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just get tired and I just go, hey, I ain't going to come. So
Okay.
I go to sleep.
Okay. Are you, can I ask, circumcised?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. my father wasn't, and I wanted to keep my son intact, so he wasn't.
Yeah. Cool. So I sometimes get bored, or not bored, but like frustrated maybe when I'm like, it's not happening.
It doesn't frustrate me. I just go, this ain't going to happen. So
okay.
just stop.
Okay. Are you more of a, like, do you typically have external stimulation, or are you a fantasy kind of guy, or is it a mixture? Like what gets you off when you're solo?
I just think about going down on a woman and making her feel really good.
Okay, can you tell us some of your moves? Because I'm like, I feel like I could probably learn a thing or two from you. Like when you are faced with a new pussy, like how do you explore and get to know her?
Well, I use my fingers
Mm.
to get the lay of the land.
Uh-huh.
And then I kiss and lick and suck and probe with 2 fingers in the vagina. I'm just going to say pussy because vagina is too clinical, just like penis is a terrible name for a cock.
Dude. And I'm like, could we have something a little sexier than balls or testicles? Like, I'm just, I'm like, I want to have some better words here. I feel you.
And in the fingers, there's the 3rd hole. So I just wet my finger and go there.
Okay.
It works pretty good.
Nice. Do you find a rhythm with different people? Like it sounds like you're really good at making people come with your mouth.
I really enjoy when she's coming, she grabs my head and just forces it on her. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like the pleasure noises. And I like the fact that she loves it.
Yeah. What about when it comes to assholes? It sounds like you will play with them a little bit. Do you also enjoy licking those, or is it fingers only kind of territory?
Oh no,
for you?
tongue too.
Yeah, nice.
Tongue too.
Okay, fun.
And what I do is I have them, when they're laying on their stomach, I have them spread their butt cheeks so I can get to it without having to do that myself.
Yeah, it's nice. That's really nice. Okay, so going back to fill in the gaps, did you ever get like an official sex education or sex talk or anything like that?
No.
Sounds like you had a lot of hands-on experience.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever talk about sex with like guy friends or people in your sphere, or was it more with lovers only?
Probably lovers only. I mean, guys always talk smack. They'll talk about their cock size, and I go, why are you telling other guys you got a big dick? Just tell the girls. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. It's like I don't want to know if you got a big dick. That's what you say. So that's fine with me.
Just tell the girls.
Just tell the girls. Don't tell the guys.
Well, maybe he was interested in something different. Who knows?
Nah, guys just have a tendency to do that.
It's so funny. Okay, so you grew up in this time of like free love. Like what was that like coming of age in the 60s? Like what do you remember about like the social narratives, and like in many medias over the years, there is the kind of like push past the no message that is kind of written in, but it sounds like you did not absorb that. So like how did you unfold? How did you grow into this beautiful lover that you are?
Having the opportunity. Because without the opportunity, I wouldn't have or know what I know now.
So would you just like pick people up in person, like when you're out and about in Hollywood? It sounds like, one girl was on acid and then she wanted to give you hand jobs.
Okay.
But like, how would you like meet people and get your
Well, in the
lovers?
60s, it was easy to meet people because, the long hair thing and the rock and roll and the quote unquote hippies. And there was one time I was with a girl from Alabama. And the next night, I had a friend who had an apartment in Hollywood. So he took me and we took this girl home because I wasn't driving then. I didn't have a car. He did. We took this girl where she was staying in this commune, and her sister was there. And they wanted to come and use Barry's shower. So this young hippie girl came with them to take a shower. And my friend was like, all over her. That girl from Alabama had a really good time, but she wanted to go out and just do her thing with her sister. So that night, that's what she did. And the night before that, when I first was with her, this brunette comes up to me and goes, "See that cute blonde over there?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "She says if you got nothing better to do to come to this address." And I go, "Well, I'm with somebody tonight, but she can meet me here tomorrow." So she did. I took her home and I kept her for 2 days. And my friend Barry took her home, dropped her off, and the brunette said, "How was it?" And she said, "It was great. Why don't you meet him at Canner's tonight and you can have him?"
Oh my God.
So I did. She did. I did. She enjoyed it. Then a couple of nights after they did their sisters and the hippie girl and some hippie guy took showers, the hippie girl was staying, like moved in. She wasn't in the commune anymore.
Okay.
She was staying there with him. I went to a party with the other 2 girls that came out here from Texas. There were 3 girls from Dallas, 1 girl from Houston. So I was with one of the other girls from Texas. And then the next morning, the other girl from Texas didn't want to hitchhike back to where she was staying. So I offered to hitchhike with her. And I go, "Wait a minute, let's just go over to Barry's and I'll see if Barry can give you a ride." So we go over to Barry's and I knock on the door and he goes, "Who is it?" I go, "It's me, Bernie." And he goes, "Okay." He opened the door and he had his boxers on and he said, I go, "Can you give her a ride to?" "Well, give me a couple of minutes." And he shut the door and he finished what he was doing and he came. And so he opened the door and he goes, "Get in the bed and I'll take her when I wake up." Okay, so there's Barry at the left side of the bed, then the girl he was with, then me, then the girl so she's all over the Texas girl's like all over me, and she reaches down, and this other girl has got her hand on my cock. So she tells her, "Get your hand off him. He's mine right now."
Oh.
So
right now.
So after I did her, and then Barry woke up, he took her. The door didn't even shut yet, and that girl was all over me.
Oh my gosh.
And so I had to take care of her. But at the end of the time, in a week's time, with 1 girl from Alabama and 4 girls from Texas, I had a really good Southern accent.
Oh my gosh. So it sounds like you are a literal chick magnet. Like you like
No, not really.
I
It's
mean,
only to
word
the
of
ones.
mouth. Word of mouth.
Yeah,
going
I
around.
mean, my sister, she is a year younger than me. One's a year younger, one's 2 years younger.
Okay.
And my one sister hung out a lot in Hollywood the same time I did. I mean, she wore micro mini skirts in 1966 before they even came out. I had a blue and gray Pendleton that she made 6-inch mini skirts, hip huggers.
What's a Pendleton?
A Pendleton's a shirt.
Okay. Okay. Oh wow. Oh.
Yeah.
What is she? That's called like future fashion forward. She's fashion forward.
Well, it was, the Pendleton's was a preferred shirt by surfers.
Okay.
And I was a surfer before I started hanging out in Hollywood.
Okay.
And guys would throw $5 bills on the floor in the restaurant just so she could bend over and pick them up for them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I literally just was going through some old costume trunks and I found all of these mini skirts from like late high school, early college. So I'm like, maybe I should do that.
What I did was she would be talking with people, with girls, and some of them would be talking about me. And my sister knew that I hadn't been with them. And and they're saying all this really cool stuff about me. And my sister goes, "You're lying because you haven't been with him."
Wow. Okay, I kind of love though that the word of mouth, like the vouching is in your favor in this. And I
Yeah,
think that's hot.
like
Yeah.
those four girls from Texas.
And I personally love the culture of sharing. You know, I'm big into compersion, like if like I'm happy if my partners are happy, etc. But literally just sharing a partner who I enjoy with someone else I love, it is not currently, unless you're in kind of a subculture
Mm.
normative, but like I think that is amazing. Okay, what other story? I feel like you're rich in stories. Like, what else do we get to know about your sex life?
Well, I've never been with two girls, but I've been with three.
Okay.
Two sisters and their cousin.
Oh my God, what? How did that come about?
I was with one of the sisters, and she told her sister and cousin. And so they joined in the next night.
Wow. That seems like how many places can you be at once? Like how did you
I have
orchestrate
two
it?
hands, 2 feet,
Wait, did you use your
a
feet?
tongue, and a cock. So I literally could do 6.
I'm literally having a vision of like someone riding you and you having hands and two people. Like, can you tell us, do you remember any of the configurations?
You hit it on the head,
Okay.
literally.
I'm like, if
The
I
head.
were going to direct that scene, that's how I would organize it. But I'm like, I mean, I guess there could be a configuration where someone's on your face. You know, like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
wow. Did they take turns? Like, did you rotate them at all?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a connoisseur, so they all have to come
Yeah.
in, all the different ways.
Okay.
You know,
A literal family affair.
yeah, it was fun.
Okay. So is that's, I mean, you also had that experience where you were in bed between the two ladies, but one at a time. Have you had other group sex experiences?
No, just that one.
Just that one.
Just
That's
that one.
awesome. Wow. Okay. What else? What else have you experienced?
I've experienced a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but, it's fun.
Um,
But I've also non-experienced way too much stuff.
what do you mean?
I I don't get laid very often. When I
Mm,
do, I take care of her
yeah.
very well. But it's all in someone's desire.
Yeah.
And I myself, sometimes I really don't feel that attractive because I don't
Mm,
get that very much anymore.
right.
Even though people don't guess me as being 76, and when I tell them, you look great for 76, I wouldn't think you were that old.
Yeah. Well, it also sounds like your origin stories, people were just like passing you around and throwing themselves at you. So it's like
Yeah,
it might be a new era where you have to try harder in this modern world.
maybe. I mean, but I believe I have some really high standards now.
I think that's wonderful. Tell us about them, and I would love to hear your like ideal frequency and quality if you had your perfect world right now.
I love dark skin,
Mm,
but I'm not adverse to any shade. I prefer a woman that isn't wider than me at the hips.
okay.
I've never been a big girl attractive, but I have been with big girls because they're just phenomenal. They're just great. They were just great. They had great personalities, a beautiful face.
Yeah.
They just had a little bit of weight to them. And nowadays, for the last 40 years or so, because I've gained weight, I can't do that. If somebody wants to be with me and they're a little overweight, I can't like, oh, they're too heavy for me because I'm heavy.
Mm. Tell us what you do like so slimmer than you at the hips.
A little bit slimmer, my size or a little bit slimmer, shapely legs, ass or flat ass doesn't bother me. Flat ass, I don't have so much flesh to get to the
Yeah, you don't got to get
to
so
the
much out of the
food,
way.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And I just like every part of a woman's body,
Yeah.
but especially their eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. So engaging eyes. What about like personality qualities? It sounds like we want someone or just lifestyle, someone who doesn't drink, someone who doesn't
Doesn't
do
smoke,
drugs. Yeah.
doesn't do drugs, someone that isn't overtly religious, but spiritual
Yeah.
spiritual is a must. There's a meme that I saw that I kept, that may you find someone that can keep up with you spiritually.
Yeah.
So on New Year's Day, I posted, on this New Year's Day, 2025, I am going to finally acknowledge what my heart has been blessing me. May you find a woman, someone that can keep up with you spiritually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does spirituality encompass sex for you? Is there a link there in your world?
Yeah.
Because for me, sex is God. Like, it's transcendent everything. Like,
Yeah.
everything is
Because,
creation.
just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you can't be active. I want companionship.
Yeah.
And sex is a great part of companionship.
And it's my favorite exercise.
Yes. Mine too.
Okay, so when it comes to like frequency of sex and quality of sex, how often would you like? I imagine that quality wise, you want to be able to make them come a lot. You want someone who has desire in you, who also wants to please you, but kind of paint the picture of your perfect world. I think this is how we call it into being, right? Getting specific on the details.
Just like sitting and watching TV,
Yeah.
just getting played with.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
And and it doesn't have to just be at home. You could be in a movie theater, just throw the jacket over your lap and
fondling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever like fooled around under a table at a restaurant or anything like that?
Oh, I have.
That's one of my big fantasies. You have?
Oh, yeah.
Cantors. I feel like you were there a lot.
A couple of times there.
With tablecloths or without?
Without, but
Okay.
I haven't like whipped it out. But
Sure. No,
I kind of like the feeling through Levi's.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's so fun.
Just being touched is nice.
Yeah. Touch is
And
important.
I can make you come through your Levi's. So
Really? I don't know if I've ever come through jeans. Panties, yes. I'm also a naked person, so like I'll get them off sooner rather than later. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, if we're getting sexual, please take off these clothes.
And
because I like touch.
I give a great foot massage.
Okay.
And I can give you a great foot massage with your cowboy boots on.
What? How? What?
I can do it. I've done it. I do
Through
it a lot.
boots?
Yeah.
Do you like
You just got to squeeze a little harder.
Yeah.
It's like the top of the cowboy boot, not the sole.
Yeah. Oh,
but
of
it's the
course.
top of the cowboy boot.
Squish 'em. Wow. I feel like if that was happening to me, I'd be like, yeah, let's get these boots off of here. That's so cool. Oh,
I remember one time I was working on this show and we were having our second meal. It was a long ass day. And one of the wardrobe girls or makeup was sitting across from me. And the whole time we're eating, she's complaining about her feet hurting. So I said, well, whip your foot up here and I'll give you a foot massage. So I did. And this was way back when where you could say innuendos and it wasn't like frowned upon because it worked both ways.
Yeah.
So I went up to her and I go, remember when I gave you that foot massage? How about giving me an 8-inch massage? And she goes, that's really clever.
Wait, I don't know if I get it. Is it a cock? What's the 8 inches?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Because I gave her a foot massage.
A foot massage. Do you just love bringing pleasure, or do you identify as like a foot worshiper? I mean, you said you're into all parts of the body, but like, is there anything about feet specifically that do it for you?
Only if it feels good to them.
Right. Okay. I'm the same way. I'm like, if someone really likes their feet.
I like doing it. I like the feel of doing it, but I like the feeling that I'm giving.
I have a girlfriend who I found out the experience with her feet, like the way that her nervous system is wired. Mm-hmm. She has literal orgasmic feelings, like it's erotically stimulating when she receives a foot massage.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, Like, I got so curious. We basically manifested a threesome because I was like, my friend has, wait, you like feet? My friend has sensitive feet. Do you want to? Because I wanted to watch. So I was kind of a wing woman. That's so cool. Have you done things in other interesting locations? Like, it seems like you are opportunistic and out and about.
You know, cars.
Okay. I love car things. Front seat, back seat, both. While driving, parked.
Usually parked, not while driving,
Yeah.
because I don't want to
Safety.
kill anybody
I
or
think that's
myself or
wise.
her.
Safety first, yes.
Yeah, the safety first. And then there's times when I, like, back in the 60s, me and a friend took a couple of girls to the drive-in. It was two Disney movies. It was Swiss Family Robinson and Peter Pan. So the first movie was Swiss Family Robinson. So the other couple was in the back seat and we were in the front seat. Then when the next movie came on, we got in the back seat and I wanted to watch Peter Pan and I didn't want to do anything with her. I didn't even kiss her. I was just watching the
You're like,
movie.
let me. Cute. Oh, I bet she was disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's good to make people want more.
Yeah. I mean, the next, after the show, when we got home, it was a different story. But during that time, I wanted to watch Peter Pan.
I love that. Are there any other parts on your body that love receiving stimulation besides your cock? Like we talked a little bit about that.
My inner thighs.
Okay. What do you like to have done to them?
Just kind of like brushing your nails along the inner. There was, for years back when I was a teenager, I would hear a girl's voice in my ear whispering my name and putting her hand on my thigh, just below my cock.
That's hot.
But it hasn't happened in a long time, years, but that was in my time frame of just finding out about myself.
Yeah.
And others using their hand but not actually penetrating them, or me going down on them or them going down on me. And like I said, I was 18 and it took me 45 minutes to get off.
Yeah.
And it was like, is that all there is?
Yeah.
I mean, it was great while it happened. It was much better than my hand. But, that's just a while during the sexual stuff, anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I won't even get off.
Yeah. I mean, for me, orgasm is not the ultimate goal, but it sure is nice when it happens.
Oh, yeah.
It does feel like a certain completion.
Yeah.
Okay, as you review your sex experiences, are there any other stories or lessons that feel like worth mentioning for us to learn from or just know about for delightful purposes?
Just be passionate and considerate. Yeah. And just, enjoying them enjoying.
Enjoying them enjoying is that's the key to pleasure, right?
Yeah.
And then hopefully it makes a loop and it goes back and forth and they enjoy you enjoying them, enjoying themselves and you and all of it.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about butt stuff, but what about anal penetration? Is that something that you're into?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I like it.
What about
They
your
like it.
butthole getting played with?
Tongue's nice
Tongue's
every
nice,
now and then,
yeah.
but
Okay. Okay.
that's about it.
Okay, so not a prostate explorer so
No.
far. Okay. Okay. But you never know. I hear it's good for you. I don't know,
Well,
blood flow and stuff.
I don't know. I haven't been there.
Okay.
I mean, personally, I don't even like the doctor going there.
Okay.
But I did have a female doctor one time, and that was okay.
I was going to say, sometimes it just takes the right person. Like for me, I was not a big butt slut until I had a partner that was really, really into it. I mean, is that really true? I was anal curious.
Anal curious,
but
yeah.
then
But
I
he
didn't have
had to
good
have been really
experience.
into it.
He was really into it and
Well,
taught me how to do everything safely, correctly, getting warmed up and stuff, and going slow with me so I could feel comfortable.
I remember one time I met this woman at a bar back in the days when I was drinking.
Mm.
And she came home with me and whipped out a jar of Vaseline out of her purse so I could go there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't have to ask or,
Oh,
it was just like,
she just told you.
yeah,
Okay. Was that your first time doing butt stuff?
no,
No. Okay. Okay.
no.
You'd explored everything. You came of age in a free love sort of time. Did you guys have any health and safety conversations? Like, did you use protection? Like, what was the vibe there like? Was it willy-nilly? Like, what was that like for you?
Okay. I got the clap
Okay.
a few times, and I never blamed the girl because they don't know
Yeah.
until they give it to somebody, but guys fucking know,
Okay.
and they do it anyway.
Damn.
They do it anyway because guys are guys. And I remember one time I was with a woman and I had the clap and I was, I did the oral thing and she wanted penetration. And I go, I don't have any condoms and I got the clap. But I go, wait a minute. And I went and got a Wonder Bread wrapper, a plastic wrapper for Wonder Bread. And I put it on my cock and here.
Okay, listeners, I don't know if that's medically sound advice, but that is a great story. I mean, truly a wonder breadful story.
Yes.
Oh,
It
that's
was quite
really
wonderful.
Wow. Oh my gosh. What about like hopes for the future? We talked a little bit about ideal partnership, but is there anything like experience-wise that you would want to explore? Any locations, any types of toys? We didn't really talk about toys, but like,
I prefer using my natural toys
yeah, me too.
as
I'm
opposed
like, give me
to
hands.
being with the woman and then using a dildo on her.
Okay, I like that too, but as part
that's
of the menu, not as a substitute for everything. You know what I
right,
mean? Like I
right.
like to bring in a toy. I like novelties, but yeah.
I find that I can do it better than the toy. And so I just, they don't need a toy. Only when I'm not around.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But when I'm there, it's like, I don't want to share my woman with another guy. I'm not going to share my woman at the same time with a toy.
I hear that. And for me, sometimes I'll have partners who are like, bring your favorite toys, and I'll bring them. But if I have a set of human hands and a whole human attached to body, like
Yeah.
I'm going to be most interested in that just
Yeah.
because for me, skin to skin sensation brings so much pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just really love that. Nothing against toys. I know that they're
No,
awesome,
yeah.
but it's like,
Yeah.
I do use those a lot in solo play on the days where I'm too lazy to just use my hands. So it's like,
No, I understand. Just like, I don't mind it. It
Yeah.
doesn't bother me that a woman does that. And if she wants to use a toy, fine. I'm not going to say, hey, whip out your
Yeah.
man of war.
I do like it though if it's like a situation or a setup where like specifically I am being edged or teased and they're like, no, you sit over there and just watch me play with myself. Like that's where I'm like, yeah, use the toy. Okay. Ooh,
Yeah,
it's like
there
I
you
get
go.
excited. Or if someone's instructing me how
And
to use their favorite toy.
I have a favorite sexual position.
What is it? Yes, tell us these juicy nuggets. What is it?
Well, it's cowgirl.
Okay, facing you, so not reverse.
Yeah,
Okay.
now
okay.
reverse is fine, but I like cowgirl because it's easy for
you get
me
the eyes.
to rise up,
Mm,
to rise up and kiss you
yeah,
and suck your tits
yeah,
and play with your clit.
yeah,
And you can play with your clit and you can guide the depth of my cock.
yeah. That's important.
So I like that.
Fun.
That's my favorite one.
Okay. What are your other favorites? What's your second favorite?
Go woof style.
Okay.
People call it doggy style, but I think woof sounds more cooler.
That's great. Are you I guess it depends on the location and the bed and the person, but like do you prefer like if you're standing and they're like on the bed or like bending over the bed or you're both on the bed? Because it's like kind of the three variations that I feel like I do most often.
All of the above.
I'll be right. Yes. The answer is yes.
Any way
The answer is
she
woof.
would like it.
I love it. Yeah, I mean sometimes I just want to have the variety. Like or I just want to
I'm not real keen on the missionary position because
Really?
I don't like to put a lot of weight on a girl.
Oh, I love receiving weight. Like sometimes I'm like, please squish me. But a lot of partners don't. They don't want to. And
Well,
I'm
see,
like,
I'm self-conscious about my weight
okay,
because
well,
I don't like
I'll just throw this out there in the air just for anyone listening. I personally noticed that a little bit of a body with a belly creates a really nice angle, and it makes me feel really like contained, you know.
Okay.
I mean, all I
Yeah,
but
I
I
understand.
also agree all bodies are beautiful if they are bringing pleasure, you know.
Yeah.
I really am like a feeler in that way, but like yeah, I mean, I also will request of partners after I come sometimes to I need to just get squished because it helps me
Hmm.
come down from the like overstimulation or
Well,
because I get really
see,
sensitive.
that is good the way I feel about giving pleasure.
Yeah.
Anything that you want,
Okay. You just have to
but I
know.
won't do that. There's a song there.
Anyway, yeah, yeah, I actually got that
I'll do anything for love,
one.
but I
But I
won't do
won't do
that.
that. That's so funny. That's
Meatloaf.
fair. That's fair. You gotta know what you gotta know, and you gotta like what you gotta like. Are there other like wisdom thoughts from your reflections on sex in general, on partnership, on communication around sex? Like, what, as you review sex experiences, like what other wisdom comes forth for you?
Great memories.
Mm,
Great memories that play in my head when I'm by myself.
mm,
I can go there. And I also really like telephone sex and text sex and
mm.
sexting.
Okay, so you're like me. I'm like, if I'm gonna get a text message, it either has to be logistics or dirty. Oh, I would love
Yeah.
to hear a few details about phone sex. What do you like about it? Like, what are your favorite kind of moments that come to mind?
Oh, I just like telephone sex. I just like hearing them come.
Okay. Do you tell them what
Like
to
there
do or
was,
invite them to do stuff, or do you just have them
um,
narrate? Like, how do you, and do you play along?
oh yeah.
Okay.
I remember one time I had just met this woman and she called me and I'd just gotten done from work and I just got out of the shower and I go, close your eyes because I'm going to put on my sweats because I just got out of the shower. And she goes, okay. And I go, your eyes closed? She goes, yes. And then she told me, I go, okay, you can open them now. And she goes, I kept them open the whole time.
It's silly.
And we did telephone sex for 3 hours. And I had to go to work the next day.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's
But it was
relatable.
okay because
Yeah.
I have been with women that have lived with me and I've gone to work for 12 hours, come home, took a shower, made love the rest of the night, gone back
Oh
to
my
work
God. Yeah, it
and do it.
fuels you in a very specific way. Like it
Yeah.
really
There
does.
was there was one time I was working at Mattel Toys and
I worked there briefly too.
that was in the early 70s
Okay,
when I
well,
was
I
there.
was there later in the
Yeah.
2000s, but maybe 2000, I don't
I
know,
was at
12.
the building that used to be
Okay.
on Rosecrans and the 405 freeway.
Okay. Got it.
But this woman I know, she was moving, she was packing stuff up, and I was going to help her. And I worked, I worked 8 hours, you know, went over, and I'm helping her, and then she snorts some coke, and and I go, look, I got to go to sleep because I've got to work tomorrow. And she goes, okay, but don't be surprised if I'm sitting on your face and wake you up. And sure enough, she was.
Oh my gosh. Did you like that?
Of course.
I mean, I like it. Like I recently had a partner, I mean not recently, a couple years ago, but I finally had a partner where I was like, you know, I've never been woken up with a cock in my face before. And sure enough, next morning there it was. And I was like, so it's like that's really hot. I mean, as long as you don't suffocate, which you didn't, because here you are.
Yeah.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about your decision to never do drugs? I love that.
When I was a month shy of being 16, I had a brain operation. And I was told that if I did drugs recreationally, that it could manifest badly for me.
Okay.
And I was on phenobarbital and dilatin, and I hadn't smoked any grass or anything. And it was like um, in when I was 17 and a half, I moved to West LA and started going up to Sunset. And my druggy friends, first of all, they told me that phenobarbital was addicting. So I just stopped taking it. And then they told me at that time in 66, Dilatin was given to junkies before methadone, and they were getting more strung out on the Dilatin. So I stopped taking it.
Oh, wow.
And I drank a lot, but I didn't smoke any grass in the 60s. I smoked a little bit in like 72, 73, but it wasn't getting me high. So I told my friends, stop passing joint to me because it's just getting wasted.
Mm.
Then I went to a Halloween party in 1975, October 31st. That night at about midnight, I was really sick, and the woman that I brought, she was dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, and I was a werewolf. And I got so sick the first time I threw up, I lost my forehead. So then I was just like a were-dog.
Oh.
And I'm walking her back to her place, and the whole time she's like ragging on me. Oh, you got all messed up. I wanted to take you to show you off to all my friends at the Red Onion and blah, blah, blah. And I love you. How could you do this to me? And I go, wait a minute. I'd stop, turn away, and throw up. I was really blitzed. Got back to her place. She just kept ragging on me about me being so sick and everything.
Yeah.
I threw her a $50 bill and said, go to the Red Onion and have fun.
Mm.
So about a half an hour later, and then I crashed.
Yeah.
Half an hour later, I woke up, I took a shower, got into bed, and a little bit later, the front door opens, and it's her estranged husband. They met there, and they're going to talk. So I said, okay, go outside and shut the door, because I'm not going to get in a fight with somebody naked. So I left, and I went back to where we had the party. And this was after midnight, and I was like really still drunk. I crashed, woke up in the morning. I was still drunk. I was sick. And I said, Creator, our people never used to do this. I'm tired of being stupid. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of wasting money. Please, I don't want to drink anymore. And I never did.
That's amazing.
My dad did the same thing 6 months later.
Wow.
He stopped drinking.
Wow.
And the funny part of that was I would, if I ordered a third Shirley Temple, my friends wouldn't let me have it. They'd tell the waitress, oh, he's had 2, he can't have 3, he's driving.
That's awesome. Drinking also makes me sick, so I just don't touch the stuff. Not my thing. I love that. I love making choices in the name of health. Hooray. Hooray. Let's see where it leads you.
And I do my best to not eat bad stuff.
Do your best to eat healthy stuff.
I do my best to eat healthy stuff.
That's all we can do.
I do intermittent fasting, where I go from 18 to 22 hours between a meal, but I'll have a protein bar or protein shake.
Okay. Yeah.
During the day.
Yeah.
And
that works really well for a lot of boy bodies. I know for lady bodies it can be a little trickier.
Yeah.
According to the research. I don't know. You go listen to the Huberman Lab for anyone who wants to know details. If you suddenly had an unlimited budget to build a pleasure palace or whatever structure, if you maybe you don't want a palace, maybe you want a cruise ship or whatever you want. And it could have any elements you want, any sexy things you want. Like what would it include and who would you invite to it?
That would be a teepee in a forest clearing, so I could see the stars at night through the opening at the top. And just a lot of, buffalo hides and just,
I love that.
Just being there and in the structure itself.
Yeah.
The way it's built, the way it's It is. And just, and being with the woman that really, really loves me.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Oof, I can see it now. What do you think we collectively need to make the world a sexier, more loving, more connected place?
No fucking war.
Mm.
No idiots thinking that they should have to rule the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2025. Get over it. Nobody's going to rule it. You're just going to ruin it.
Yeah.
It's like my brother wrote this song called Selfish Man. And in it, he has a line. You say nuclear power is all right, but it doesn't mean you can have my birthright. Mm-hmm. Well, nobody's afraid of nuclear power anymore. But with the way things are now, it's like I would change the line to be, you say that fracking and oil exploration is all right, but it doesn't mean you can take away my indigenous sovereignty and sacred sites.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. How do you like to spread ripples of love?
Just by being me.
I love that.
Honest, sincere, happy.
Armed with jokes.
Yeah, humor is good.
Pleasure.
Like I'll say something and like with somebody I met online and they'll do the LOL and I'll go, well, I'm glad you find that funny because I'm well aware that chicks like guys that are funny.
I love it. I am so excited for you to magnetize your perfect partner. And I am so grateful that you came on pod with me today to help spread ripples of love in this way. So thank you for sharing your sexy stories.
Well, same to you, but more of it.
Lovely woo humans, that is our show. Remember to follow your hearts and follow your parts and follow me in family-friendly internet places at Lunar Woohoo, or if you're in naughty internet places, at Lunar Secrets. Visit howtowoo.fyi for links to everything. You can support our awesome show on Patreon for early ad-free episodes. You can worship me virtually on OnlyFans or Sextpanther, or we can work together in person in a number of excellent creative capacities. You can also ask a question, share a story, or apply to be a guest at howtowoo.fyi if you want to be on the show. And tell a friend to help us grow. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and let me know how you're spreading ripples of love.